We're back. It's season 2 of the Green Band, and today we're talking Red One, Presence, and Star Wars Skeleton Crew. All of that and more coming up next. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Green Band. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Carr and Brian Fink.
We have so much more to talk about. People are like, yeah, great. Back from what?
Back
5 years?
Yeah, we're back. Yeah. No, it's longer than that.
It is longer than that.
Yeah.
Since 2018.
We're going to do a podcast. We're going to do a recap, right?
Right.
We want to talk about, for all the people that are just tuning in, where we came from. But first off, let's talk about this. It's voting day.
It is.
It's voting day.
This is a big day. You want to know why it's a big day? We need your vote. America needs your vote. The Green Band, #1 podcast.
Vote for the Green Band.
That's all we need.
I like it.
That's important.
That's good. Yeah.
If not, we'll at least take 4 stars. It's like getting graded. That's a B+.
I mean, every podcast I listen to is like, please give us 5 stars and don't give us anything else, please. Oh my God, for the love of all things holy. It's because I think it drags you. You get the 1-star review and it drags down your ratings or whatever.
Well, hopefully someone has some Catholic guilt out there.
There you go.
They'll just make,
so what we really need are Catholic listeners for the Green Band. This won't get us in trouble at all. It's fine.
Not at all. It's fine. It's
good.
a free country, right?
Yeah. So it's voting day. It's exciting. I'm excited to watch the election coverage tonight and see what happens. I'm a little on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's to me, it's very anticlimactic right now. I just, we've been talking about this for years, and it's like, we've had a change in nominees for the Democratic Party, and it's
that
like,
was insane.
What are we doing here?
Yeah,
and now it's the day. I feel like, okay, is it really the day?
It's almost like, and this is going to sound really bad, but it's almost like unless some crazy shit goes down, like you're disappointed.
I have a feeling I'm going to be disappointed no matter what. It's like, I guess I'll go back to watching.
Insurrection Part 2.
Yeah. I guess I'll watch the weather again. I don't know what to do.
I shouldn't joke about that, but I feel like you have to have a sense of humor about this stuff because shit's nuts, right? Like,
listen. A lot has happened since season 1 of Green Band.
Yeah, we should get into that.
The world shut down.
Yeah, the world shut down.
So
let's back up.
Right.
Let's back up. So for all the listeners out there that maybe listened to season 1 of the Green Band and are back with us, thank you for coming back. And for newbies, we'll just recap. We'll recap here.
Right.
So the Green Band was a podcast that Brian and I did back in 2017.
Right.
And trickled into 2018 by 1 episode.
And
that episode's pretty hysterical if you listen to it now because we're like, all right, we'll see you next week. And then fucking crickets.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And then a
lot's changed because at the time, that podcast was very industry specific to entertainment advertising, which is what both Brian and I do, which we'll talk a little bit about our backgrounds just so newbies know who the fuck we are.
Yeah.
And it was clean. This one's not, as you can tell. Say whatever the fuck I want.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
I love it.
Ass. Okay, I feel better.
Also because part of it, I realized a lot of the trailers nowadays are not Green Band. So we got the Green Band, but if you see all these trailers have curse words in them now. No one cares. So it's kind of like to show the trailers, we kind of need to be an explicit
And motion
podcast.
picture standards aren't even a problem. They can go longer than whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
You remember
we have
back
to
in the
talk
day,
about.
Brian, it's just a fucking tangent. When we were cutting trailers, you remember, no gun to person, no this. I see gun to person all the time now in MPA.
How many times, Mikey, do we have to color the color blood?
Yeah.
Red
blood
to brown or black.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So I shoot this guy and tar comes out.
And I've seen that.
But the audience bought it.
The Continental or something. It's like, these guys are oily. There's just oil everywhere.
And they were really upset about bodily fluids. Can't show me peeing. Really, but I can show someone getting shot with tar coming out of their head. Fine. Okay, I get it. But
what's that blood movie about the oil? There will be blood. Every movie's that.
Every movie's that.
There'll be oil.
There'll be oil.
But that movie was called There Will Be Blood, but it was about oil.
Right.
Yeah.
It was.
This is kind of
the irony.
They must crazy.
They must have foreshadowed and prophesized 2020 coming because everything has changed since then. Everything has changed. Now they even care about.
So we took a break because quick. So we took a break because shit got crazy with our work lives.
Right.
We did that last episode, and then our company kind of blew up for the year of 2018. It got really nuts.
Yeah, we were busy.
And then,
busy in a good way.
And then it died.
and then the world shut down. And then we were like, okay, we died.
Yeah,
it's fine. I get it.
Yeah, it's been, and we've just been kind of doing our thing. Brian's a copywriter and also a screenwriter too. I'm sort of a post guy, but to be honest, our goal with this new podcast, this new version of the Green Band, is to still talk about movie trailers, but make it more mainstream and fun and comedy focused, and not as like inside baseball, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I love inside baseball, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I get it. I totally understand.
Dodgers, World Series champions.
I was there at game 2. It was good.
You were.
It was a good game.
Yeah,
it was crazy. The whole
should put
thing.
that photo up. There we go. Mm-hmm. Watch, I forget to put the photo up, and then it's just me going like that.
That'd actually be worth it. Yeah. But it's funny that now a lot of the topics. I mean, I guess just to say, I started off doing this 26 years ago. And
damn.
I started off as a copywriter. I got into producing, met you, did a lot of, got a client. I have several clients.
Thanks
still.
for throwing me in there. I appreciate it. It was in your story.
Yeah.
It's like, met you. Oh, thank you.
That connects the dots. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not even going to say we've seen a lot change. I mean, the days of going to the movie, I mean, we're based out in Los Angeles. I mean, just to think that something like the ArcLight Theater, which was like a destination. Remember Appointment TV? There was like appointment cinematic events that you would go to. It is gone.
It's pretty much gone.
Especially
the last year, it's felt like that even more so because of the strikes. We only had one tentpole this year. One. Deadpool Wolverine, right? I mean, for me, that was the only real tentpole.
And last year was Barbie?
Last year was Barbenheimer, right?
Barbenheimer, right. Oppenheimer, too.
Nobody saw Oppenheimer. I mean, people did, but not really. And,
it was for the Oscars and the awards. We can explain that to people later, too, how that works. But it was one of these things, like, even day and date titles, which we can explain later on, it's like everybody went to the theater.
Yeah.
And that's how it was for so many years. But there were industry insiders that were very like, the popcorn model is not sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And really, there was already, you're probably sitting there going, well, Brian, there was already streaming. We had Netflix. Yeah, you still got DVDs.
Yeah.
There was Netflix.
Yeah.
But when we were on, Disney Plus wasn't even around yet.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it funny? Just a side note, isn't it funny how consumers, we always gravitate towards the thing that's easier and more like immediate, right?
Right.
But then we long for the days of where we could peruse the Blockbuster aisles or whatever. And I kind of long for the days where I got that dopamine hit of getting a Netflix disc in the mail.
Oh, it was the best.
But we could still do that, right? Netflix only phased out their DVD.com service. Like, wasn't it last year or something?
Yeah, they brought it back at one point. And they phased it out.
My point is, consumers have voted with their dollars that they don't want to do that anymore. But then at the same time, in the same breath, they're like on social media going, "I miss Blockbuster. I miss the picks of the week," or whatever.
Picks of the week?
Yeah.
The
what
workers.
Was it called?
It was always like, someone working behind a desk was like, the employee's recommendation, whatever it was.
The employee's recommendation, that's it.
The
only hit I get of that is when I go to Barnes & Noble and you see the employee recommendations and they write the little, this Stephen King thriller is particularly great because, I don't know, I guess they're all dorks at Barnes & Noble. That's why I'm doing the dork voice.
Yeah, but I would go there to Blockbuster, but there's always weird people working there. I'm like, oh, let's see what the pick of the week is, honey. Oh, Deliverance. No, we're going to go home. We'll see what's on TV tonight. I mean, it was like one of those things. But
what was up with the boomer generation? Because you're Generation X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was up with the boomer generation and referencing Deliverance?
I think they're all traumatized.
The amount of times my uncles and dad were like, "Oh, paddle faster! I hear banjos playing," and I'm like, "What? That's a fucked up joke. Like, what?"
I think that's like they're just traumatized. They don't know how to deal with it, so it's their way of therapy. Like, hey, let's go see Deliverance. We all felt it. No, I didn't feel anything. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're. But it was always like that weird thing they put out there, and I'm just. I don't know, but no, it's a different generation. Now we've gone the opposite. The opposite.
Explain.
Well, here's a great example. So right before the shutdown, and I knew this should have told me this is how things were going. My youngest son, we went to go see. He was little. He was probably like 5 at the time. We went to go to the theater to go see some animated movie, and we were in it. It's crowded. Fine. People are going to the theater. Halfway through the movie, he stands up and says, "Dad, can you pause? I have to go pee." That tells you what people think in this next 2 generations.
Yeah,
You can do it.
man.
And of course, I did the right thing and got him, and I screamed to the whole theater, does anybody else have to go? Because now's the time to do it. Everybody laughed. It was good. But I'm just saying, it's different. He would go home and we watch TV. He would swipe our LCD, our TV.
Oh,
because they think it's so. To answer your
sure.
question, it's very different now.
Yeah.
That when I was in film school, they used to talk about the future is going to be entertainment on demand.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the future, because we are on entertainment demand.
It's funny you said. Didn't you say the other day to me that back when we were 7 years ago doing the original Green Band, and you were talking about TikTok and how you didn't buy it, that people would want to spend as much time on there or even more time than going to the movies, and now you've pretty much found yourself in that position.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can get, dude, it's like a fucking slot machine. You get sucked in.
An hour goes by,
Yeah.
and I can watch anywhere between cats fighting cats, pranks on people, yelling at police officers in the car, because you can do that. Like but you know what? An hour goes by.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I'm like really into cooking, so I love seeing all these. But you have rock stars showing you their.
And it's 100% free. All you have to give away.
100%
All you have to pay
free.
is your privacy to a communist party. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And make sure your Verizon bill gets paid.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not supported by Verizon. We're not sponsored by them. But I'm just saying, it's you get your that's it. That's all you need to do. And so it's hard as a studio. And stay with us in this journey, because we're going to go somewhere with this. Like, as hard as any kind of production company or a studio or an exhibitor, like how do you get them now? It was already bad before.
Yeah.
When the one unit was like, okay, we either have TV or we have movies, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you were still competing doing now the trailers, now the campaign has to be the biggest hook you ever can to get someone to do it. Because I'll be honest with you, since 2020, people are like, oh, we shut down, but there is an explosion of content.
Yeah.
And there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we...
Not all of it good, but...
No, not all of
it's
it
out
good.
there. Yeah.
But the standards have lowered.
Well, I think in terms of being as filmmakers, and it was funny, I was reading this article the other day about this, that the old guard is still in place. All the people at the top making decisions for content, at least at the studios, are the boomer generation. And they're all still there.
Yeah.
None of them went anywhere.
No.
The article was, I'll have to put it in the show notes, but it was specifically talking about actually how management can't move up. Like there's not this carrot stick out there, dangling carrot for these middle manager types to move up through the studio system to become like a studio boss, because none of the other studios will friggin' retire.
Right.
None of them will hang it up. And they're saying that because of that, all the content, if you think, is still stuff from like, it's all old boomer type stuff.
Right.
So there's no Gen Zers in there to be like, green lighting Gen Z type content that Gen Zers would want to see.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to see it on like this, what we're going to talk about today, this Presence trailer, this Presence Steven Soderbergh movie. Of course, he's been around, so it's not
Hasn't
even
he retired and come back?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
But
my point is the way it's shot it's a big swing.
Yes,
and I guess what I'm trying to get to is like, I feel like to get asses in seats these days, you're going to have these really big swings creatively.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to, the old doesn't work anymore. Stop putting out the same shit,
Right.
And I think people are even getting tired of superhero movies. That's even getting tired. And,
Yeah, I mean, in an era where like IP, if anybody listening, IP is intellectual property, where it's king, people keep recycling that.
Yeah.
But this new trailer we're going to talk about really has a unique perspective. Literally, and the point of view and how it's filmed. And I think you have to do that to get people's attention. And the marketers of this movie did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
It's very simple yet effective because they let the product speak. And by the way, in 26 years of doing this, it's always been about the product.
Yeah.
We can always polish stuff, put lipstick on a pig. We know what you're seeing. You know what you're getting. But if it's that good, then you get word of mouth, then you get everything. This particular movie looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm into that stuff. But so I guess for those, before we get into it, I think what Mikey and I are trying to say is that, you're going to have to do something new.
Yeah.
Something different. Don't recycle the same old shit that comes back and you're like, oh, okay, I've seen this a million times. I got nothing else to do. You know what? and this is the new norm. It used to be, I'll wait till it's on HBO. I'm going to backtrack. I'll wait till it comes on tape. Oh, I'll wait till it comes on HBO. Now it's like, I'll wait till it comes on streaming. That's all I hear. Mm-hmm. That's all I hear.
Yeah.
But that's where we live in. So now
I'm
how do we
actually
beat
going to
that?
keep waiting until it comes full circle back to Betamax. Laserdisc. Then I'll watch it. You hear that, studios?
Anybody
I'm not
wants to
watching
get
your shit till I get on Laserdisc.
Anybody wants to get rid of their Criterion collection? I'm a buyer.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
anyway, so I think, I did trailers for 26 years.
Yeah.
We welcome you back. This is a big day for us. Mikey has been doing post and cutting. You've done everything.
Yeah,
Dude.
a little bit of everything.
Everything.
Stripping.
Yeah.
It was a short-lived career.
Do you take Venmo? And so it's just like, this is how it works. This is the combined we have right now of years experience that we're going to sit here. And all we want to do weekly is talk a little bit about trailers, some of the new trends.
Yeah.
We're going to have some fun.
Some entertainment.
General
entertainment news, yeah.
And we would love to hear from you guys. So
Yeah.
please follow us.
Yeah, we have a thing.
We do. What's the thing?
For now, the best way to get in touch with us is greenbandpodcast@gmail.com.
Good. Say it one more time.
greenbandpodcast@gmail.com.
So that is great. We have a lot of questions.
We also, real quick, we also do have a website, greenbandpodcast.com. So
Great.
that's also a good way to check us out.
And we were totally open. And some of the stuff, you're probably like, why are we going to contact you for? What questions are we going to have? But, we have a lot of interactive stuff. In our first season, we did a lot of, name that sound effects, like game
design advice,
Everything I see is from Instagram, so I'm just going to repeat it here. No, I'm joking. But it's like, we're here. We are all coming out of this on this side together. And it's very different. It's very, very different. And I know everybody will sit there in this field and say, oh, no, it's better. We're doing this. We're doing that. I recently, maybe you have heard this too, Mikey, the business has changed. And it's, especially since the strikes too, there's been a new phrase out there, survive to 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hear that. I just heard that the other day because a buddy of mine who's a writer.
You just heard it the other day? I've been hearing that since the summer,
He called
man.
me and was just like, oh, I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
He has had a script in development for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And he's telling me, like, Fink, just survive to 25. I'm like, oh my God, do I build my bunker? I don't know what to do. Like, I was like literally confused. I'm like, I haven't heard that. So it's like, I don't know what's going to change next year. I hope something happens.
I just think it's like wishful thinking. I hate to say that. Like
I thought it was a good trailer.
I was just, what is it necessarily happening in 25 once we pass the holidays that all of a sudden everybody's like, oh no, the industry's back to normal. No, the truth of the matter is, and this might be controversial, I don't really care. The strikes pretty much decimated the industry because labor's just too damn expensive now.
Right.
Sorry. Labor's too expensive. So all the, everything's been shipped overseas. It's not like it's going to magically come back now unless things are renegotiated. And that's not going to happen.
Right.
Sorry. So, any kind of narrative stuff that was in the pipeline was going to go overseas. And, I don't know. It's tricky.
I feel like everything's kind of expensive now. But
exactly. We kind of like inflation across the board, which I can understand why writers and actors are like, we want our cut. Like, I get it. But at the same time, I kind of think they might have priced themselves out of the market in a way. So again, that might be controversial, but that's just what I've read and what I've been seeing myself and what I've talked to studio heads that are friends of mine have told me. I mean, the reality is they have, these are publicly traded companies. They have to show profit margins and it is what it is, right? I mean, it doesn't help that we're also going through this just general disruption in the business as well, just with streaming doesn't fucking work as a business model, except for one company, which is called Netflix, pretty much. And they're starting to grapple with how much they're spending now, right? It was just, we'll spend whatever we want for years. And that's not the case.
They were in the red. Yeah, and it's like, but the biggest thing, just to go back to the strikes, is like, and you're like, when are we gonna get to the trailers? We're gonna get to the trailers because this is actually really interesting.
I think this is pent up. Me and Brian pent
this
up.
Is 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is from 2018. I can't do the math.
Why don't we save some of it? Why don't we go ahead and pivot actually to entertainment news?
Yes.
We want to talk about, and we'll actually show this trailer as well. Brian, you want to talk about Red 1.
497, 498, 499, 500.
Let's go heavy. Yeah, got it. Looking strong, Nick.
Go on, brush your shoulders off. Red 1 is on the move.
Evening, ladies. What are you so excited about? Of course, your boyfriend's here.
Okay. Who's with Red?
Breach!
Someone took Nick. We're gonna find him.
I'm bringing in Jack O'Malley. He's probably the best tracker in the world.
The guy's a legend.
What am I doing here?
Last night, Red One, also known as St. Nicholas of Myra, was abducted from the North Pole complex.
Are you saying Santa Claus has been kidnapped?
Garcia?
What the hell?
You can't trust this guy. He's on the list.
You don't mean...
Yes, that list. NL4.
Are you telling me this clown is a level 4 naughty lister? A level 4 naughty lister?
Oh, is that funny to you?
Hey! You're gonna help us find Nick.
Come on, let's go.
Grab a car. For what? You don't have a Wonder Woman action figure, do you?
It's not how it works. Come on. There is much in here that is not of the natural world.
Who's that?
Krampus.
What are they doing?
They're playing crappish slop.
I think if you don't need me here, I might just go back to the car.
We need to prepare for the possibility of no Christmas.
There's worse ways to go out than trying to save Santa Claus.
We got snowmen!
That was so disturbing.
Interesting.
My turn!
Oh my God. Is my face still there?
Yeah, you look good.
I've been hearing about this movie for a long time just because I had some personal friends that, they worked on this movie, they're part of it. And so I think the concept is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody out there who doesn't know this movie, listen, I have no affiliation with it. I'm just telling you as marketing, gurus here that I think it's a phenomenal pitch. It's imagine you got Santa Claus who has a bodyguard, a whole team, and Santa Claus gets kidnapped. So that's Red One, not Stay on Target. When I first heard about it, I was like, oh, it's a new Star Wars movie, Stay on Target. No, It's not. But it was like, and then they have to go get this guy, Chris Evans, he's on the naughty list, to help get, to bring the save. They go on a mission together.
And he's like a covert operations guy or something? Like he can track people down or something?
He's got a specialty that I don't have. So it's like...
He's like the Liam Neeson of...
yes.
Yeah,
He's like, I don't have a lot of money, but I can bring back Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I have a gift. Hopefully a whole bag full of gifts. And and so I think the concept is really good. I think it works. I think it's a fun thing.
But just throwing this out there, it has been done in, we've got Fred Claus,
right? We've
got Noel,
right?
Those are both versions of it where Santa Claus goes missing and we have to go find him. So
this one's on testosterone.
Not complete. Yeah, this is just
this one's jacked up on HGH. By the way, I don't know if they do HGH. I'm just saying it's just these guys. So anyway, they did this. It was supposed to be released in 2023.
Yeah,
and now it's coming out now.
Wow.
And there's been articles. The first one, I believe, came out with TheWrap.com, if you guys want to check it out. That
we'll try to put this in our show notes.
They went over budget by $60 million.
Wow.
And so now you're at a $250 million balloon budget on this thing. And some of that's marketing. Maybe not. Maybe some companies got stuck with the bill. I hope not. But I'm just saying, how do you rescue this? Think about rescuing Santa. How do you rescue the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to go out and do this. So what they did was they released a teaser, they released a trailer, and now a lot of the TV campaign is focusing, as you'll see, on Chris Evans' character over The Rock. because there's been some controversies out there, and this could be completely separate from any of this. I like Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked on some of his movies. I think he does good work. But there was an article in this Wrap.com that said he came out and be late for the set, that he was part of the reasons why they went over budget. Whether that's true or not, I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
I don't have that. But it happened.
Yeah.
And the movie is over budget. And I can tell you right now, just based on some of the movies I worked on.
Articles, they say he was up to 8 hours late for set.
Is that what it said?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it also said that this isn't necessarily the first time he's been known to do that.
Wow.
This movie, that is.
Right.
He's been known for that to happen in the past. But I guess whoever his publicist or whatever, was able to kind of keep that out of the press.
Right.
Now that it happened on this one, and for some reason, whatever, it got into the press, they're kind of the people around him are sort of admitting like, oh yeah, this has happened before.
Right.
So
interesting.
It's interesting because he has a reputation as supposedly one of the hardest working guys in show
business.
business.
That's his thing.
It's his thing. I'm going to be the hardest worker in the room, right? Wasn't that his thing?
My oldest son does that. He's in high school and he loves working out. He looks up to him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I totally get it.
And so you wonder, I think it's smart to never believe everything you read.
Of course.
Right. And I think that there's also two sides to every story. So, is there an element of truth to this? For certain. But is it the entire truth? We're not really sure.
Right.
But at the end of the day, apparently also something had to do with some of the producers on the movie were a little green.
Yeah.
Probably greener than they should have been for such a large movie.
Because it's a big concept.
Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe, again, not saying this happened, but I'm speculating. It could be that the new green producers, Rock didn't take it seriously, so he doesn't show up, and then they can report back. And, you never know what happened. But at the end of the day, that production didn't have its shit together.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
And then what happens now, everybody's like, okay, that's great, guys. Thanks for letting me know. But this is what happens now. On the marketing end, we come in and we inherit this, I'm not going to use mess, but like it's chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos is probably a good word for it. And how do we make sense of this? Because in the end, you still have to open up this movie.
Yeah.
It's still going in the theaters. It says in theaters only before it goes to streaming. You still have to open this up.
Well, here's the other thing. What business does Amazon have spending $190 million on a tentpole movie that, okay, they're a streamer. I guess the question is, what is the purpose of doing tentpole movies at streamers? I guess I've always kind of wondered that because it is, I don't know. I do look at it like, okay, during the if there's something, let me back up.
Right.
If there's something we learned during the pandemic,
right,
it's that there's value in still releasing a movie in the theater before it goes to streaming and home video.
Of course. FOMO.
They tried, I can't think, I'm sure you can think of some titles where they released them direct. The Pixar movie. There's a couple Pixar movies in there where they released them straight to Disney Plus. And they essentially ended up kind of hurting the Pixar brand in the process by doing that. Now, of course, this is, and also remember Warner Brothers at the time during the pandemic, doing their whole direct to streaming thing, direct to HBO Max at the time, and saying we don't need to go theater first anymore.
Well, that was Wonder Woman 2, and they tried to do that.
Yeah,
that was
doing
like the how it started.
Day and date. Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And Christopher Nolan's next movie on that was the same thing.
As a streamer, when your main business, right, you're not Warner Brothers, you're not Disney, you're not Universal, your main business model, your Amazon, your Netflix, is streaming. Why are you making those tentpole movies? You see what I'm saying? It's almost like a stay in your lane type thing, or I'm just saying, it's like, I'm not telling them, I'm not criticizing them. I'm wondering out loud, what's the purpose of that? Like as a streamer, why aren't you making movies that are more of those rom-coms, like those things that exist so well on streaming and do so well?
Right.
Like those things that people don't want to go to the theater to see a friggin' romantic comedy anymore. They want to go to the theater, see explosions and, shirtless superheroes and stuff.
I can only surmise, like, listen, I can give you my opinion, which I'm probably going to do, and I can give you maybe real facts, false facts. I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, it goes back to what we just talked about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
There's so much competition out there
that
who's going to be the next streaming thing that's the new studio? Who's going to invest and be like, I'm going to get this many? Because I'm sure it's about subscriptions and viewers. I know
so it's an arms race. It's an arms race.
It's an arms race. It has to be. That's what I think. Listen, I'm not.
I think the way of, I hear you. I agree. But man, is that like, okay, we're going to pack our talent against them with mediocre ideas.
Right.
I don't see it as a viable arms race. You're right. It is an arms race, but okay.
Right.
You know.
And then maybe on the flip side too, again, we'll back up. A lot of part of marketing and doing trailers, especially over the past, definitely before the pandemic, I've heard a couple things still do it. There was a lot of research involved.
Yeah.
And they would go to NRG, these national research groups, and they would do these focus groups, and they'd find out. I really, truly believe, going back to my story with my son, it's like I think people don't want to go to the movies anymore. I think they want to stream. The convenience at home, the price of going to the movies. For a family of 4, it's easily, if you're going to pay $15, I'm going to go low end, $15 a person. So you're looking at $60 right now. And then all of a sudden, you're paying
popcorn and soda
$50 to $60 more, double on the sodas, candy, and popcorn.
That is a lot of money to front for most families.
It's
a
lot. And the rhetoric behind here. So, and the rhetoric behind this, it's like going to Disneyland. I'm going to give you it's a smaller version of Disneyland because now
it's an event. It's like
an
we're
event.
going out
they
of the
have
house.
Popcorn buckets. You buy. It's not just going by. You go up and you buy blankets. You buy toys. You buy everything. I personally, again, not research. I go to Cinemark a lot. I like their theaters. I think the CEO does a really good job in the brand. But again,
this is not the first time Brian has plugged Cinemark.
It's not the first.
So even though you say I'm not affiliate, I'm starting to think you're getting kickbacks.
Hold on a second, I got a call. Oh, Cinemark.
Is it Cinemark? Oh, it's the CEO of Cinemark. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, it's very, it's not just going, here's your ticket, get some popcorn. It's everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love it. Before you know it, family of 4 going to see a 2-hour movie, and by 2 hours I mean an hour and a half with 30 minutes of commercials and trailers, which we need to help support. It's $200.
Yeah.
And I know there are people out there listening going, oh, 160, 150, or it's just me and my girlfriend, or me and my boyfriend. It's like the problem is the popcorn model is not sustainable. Yeah. And I think there are several directors, I don't know if it was Spielberg or Lucas, they spoke to, I think, USC or a university and said, this is the future.
Yeah.
The future is going to the movies is like going to, out here if you're in LA, Pantages, going to a Broadway theater to go see an event film. You want to see it in IMAX? Fine. I'll go see Wolverine versus Deadpool in IMAX. That's an event film.
Yeah.
But I'm like, am I going to go do that for, I don't know. I can't even think of a day and date title right now. No. Even watch, like I'm picking on some of these smaller horror movies, or I would call them day and date titles. What I mean by that is like,
Smile 2, something like that.
Something like a watch. You're not going to go do that.
Yeah.
You're just not going to go do that because you can't make the money on this. So I think a lot of people are like, well, it's cheaper, even if I spend $19.99 to get, I think they're called premiere events, depending on what streaming platform you're looking at, to get this movie. I'd rather pay $19.99 or $29.99 once because it's cheaper to stay at home with a family of 6 or family of 4 and do this. Because nowadays, we're digressing a little bit, it's cheaper to get a huge 60-inch screen. I mean, like and the sound bar, you don't even get the surround. Like it's different now.
Yeah, it's just a different landscape, and it's interesting to see, where it's going to go. It really is, and I still personally go to the movies all the time.
Same,
all the time.
Yeah, but that's our generation. It's different.
That's our generation. That's going to die out, right? As we get older, we age out. That's going to happen, and even my parents, who are boomers. They're ones that are like, I don't really want to leave and go out of the house. Like, we don't really go to the movies. So even that generation I'm hearing is like getting tired of certain things. Right. So it's interesting,
But I think if you bring back the right products, I think if it comes down to story and you get the right thing, I'm not sure it'll do it, but I think you have to have that uniqueness, that unique perspective that in anything you create in the content, that someone's gonna be like, you know what? I want to see that.
Yeah. I equate it to this. I feel like anytime someone says something's going to go away and never come back, it's almost usually never true. Now, again, the case of like Blockbuster, it did. There's only one left, right? In the case of, DVD.com, it went away. You can't do mail order DVDs anymore. But you can still get vinyl, right? You can still listen to music on vinyl. You can still get cassette tapes you can still get CDs. They still sell those formats because there are people that want that stuff for whatever. I don't know why anybody wants CD.
There's always
to be honest,
retro.
But,
I mean, it's
but vinyl's a big thing, actually. It's like it stayed as a analog format that people want. It's collectible. It's like it's a viable industry still.
Right.
And super old. So, I feel like theaters are always going to be around, but what iteration of that,
What that model looks like?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's yet to be written.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing changes right now that's not the norm that we used to. But it's like, the best way I can describe it is when I take a new generation, meaning my kids and their friends and people after them, going to the theater isn't about seeing the film. Yeah. It's about, what can I buy? And I'm going to get sweets. And it's like a fun time. It's like when my son was little, I love going to the bookstore. And he'd be like, Dad, are we going to go to the bookstore today? I'm like, yeah, we are. You excited? He goes, yeah, I want to go to the bookstore so bad. I'm like, why? He goes, because I want to check out the toys. And it was like, but it's true because now they all have toys and they're Legos.
It's like
it's
half toys.
It's not the right thing.
Yeah,
so you're going to this market now, and it's like, I feel kind of like that's what's happening.
Yeah,
so,
a little bit.
So the streaming has to promise this thing like you're going to get a motion picture. You're going to get a movie theater quality film at home.
And that's where the red ones come from,
Right.
That's where these kind of tentpoles. Right. Yeah, I got it. I mean, you're right. It makes sense. I get it. It's just sometimes still hard for me to wrap my head around, but I get it.
But then you get a movie like Presence, which we're going to talk about in a second, that has a unique look on it. Like I would go see that in the theater.
Why don't we move on to that? Let's talk about.
Let's
talk about Presence. So, actually, should we watch it real quick?
Yeah, let's watch it.
What's it like?
What's what like?
I never had anybody die.
Scary. And it goes on.
What do you mean?
Like, the world cracks apart. You fall into this hole. And the sides are mud, and you can't get out. You wonder where they are. And you wonder what it would be like if you were there too.
Wow.
Okay. Your reaction is so good. Wow. Yeah, no, it's wow.
That's
it's
great.
Really cool, man. Yeah. Cool
so
trailer.
When you first pitched this and sent this, I thought, what a great find. And this movie, all right. So
it wasn't one that was super widely promoted. It was, so.
Which reminds
it's a
me.
Neon. It's a Neon. This is from Neon.
Right. So it reminds me, by the way, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Who's come, gone, back, whatever. He worked on a really big movie that I loved. He did a Contagion, which I worked on way back when, which is another whole story.
I actually watched Contagion during COVID.
It was great.
I think a lot of people did. A lot of people kind of revisited those. There was another one too. People revisited like some kind of anyway. But yeah,
but when I saw this, the first thing that came to mind, and you guys just saw the trailer. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah.
In 1981, a movie I dated myself. In 1981, a movie came out that we all went to the theater to go see called The Evil Dead.
Uh-huh.
And that last 30 seconds of that trailer is Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah?
You're taking the point of view of the entity, and it was always coming back. And so you knew.
Yes.
And then the flip side be the person. This whole trailer, when they say, you're going to hear this, when people say, oh, find your voice, this trailer, whoever cut this, we should actually do research.
Yeah, we probably should have figured out who cut this.
But whoever did, they did a great job to capture that. Imagine this whole trailer is just told through the perspective of the entity.
Yeah.
The ghost.
Yeah.
the spirit.
And maybe that's how the film is.
And maybe that's how the
but
film is.
we don't know for sure.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
I mean,
and also amazing that very little is shown.
Simple graphics,
but like there's only at the end you see a couple of cool lights flickering and stuff but they're not giving anything away with this, which I love. Love that.
But yeah, I 100%. But it's also a throwback. When you put this copy in here, it's not get ready to hide until the ghost is clear. It's none of that. It's not. Sorry. It's not. Sorry. There's no pun. It is so simple, and this is one of the oldest rules in marketing that even I learned. Is that you are telling the audience what's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is the scariest movie you're going to see.
Yeah.
This is haunting. You'll be like, it's like Blair Witch did that way back when. They also blurred the lines. Was it real? Was it not real? Yeah. But like, you're basically going and saying, you are going to shit in your pants. Bring extra diapers. You're going to need it. Like, it's literally, and it's the way, and my God, I mean, if I was musically inclined, I would take up the cello after this. I mean, that's all sound effects.
No, I think it's funny that in trailers we're still doing cello stuff since it's been working forever. Well, also, I mean, it's been working since Hitchcock, right? But like, if you think about like Mother was very cello heavy trailer, and God, when was that? It was pre-pandemic. So
it's been around for a while.
A long time. So it's like we're still doing the cello thing, and I still seen a lot of like effects trailers and stuff.
Right.
They like do cello stuff. So yeah, we're still
Hereditary,
doing
everything.
Yeah, we're still doing cello stuff.
This is why I don't go to the symphony.
Yeah.
Because I'll cry halfway through.
Like,
and it's like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Freak out.
Where's Ryan? Oh, they whipped out the cello and he just fucking took off.
Done.
He's done.
Asking for his money back. Yeah. I mean, it's like, so first of all, I thought that the simplicity of it is so good.
Yeah.
And the other, oh my God, model we've had forever in this business, less is more.
Oh yeah.
And they do not show a lot.
No, they don't.
And you're seeing this from the point of view, except for that last 20 seconds, whatever it is. And it's like, oh shit, there's two things happening here. We're having an earthquake, or there's
poltergeist activity.
It's shit just got real. It just got real.
Love it.
So
it was very cool.
And it's a very cool trailer. And again, these underspoken pieces that come out are the ones that people will be talking about. And the feedback on this online has been great.
Yeah.
I mean, people are talking about it. So,
and it's kind of coming back to what we talked about earlier. Not broad, but real creative swings.
Yes.
We get, that's like we're seeing some new stuff. I've never quite seen a movie exactly like this, where it's so many wide lenses. It's so much cooler, the way the camera's moving. And it's very different for Soderbergh too. So it's kind of cool that he's going in a different direction. He's changing things up. So it's neat. It's a great creative swing, and that's what we need these days.
Yeah. And one other thing to dissect this trailer, the opening line can go so many different. As a writer, I love double entendre. I love like dual meanings of stuff. I think it's so clever. The opening line is, what's it like? Are you talking to the ghost? What's it like to be dead?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about like losing somebody? Yeah. And the girl responds, what is like? What are you talking about, basically? And it's like, holy shit, I'm on board already. Because it's like, it can be talking to because you're just taking the lens. Now, all I could think about was The Evil Dead. And that's really how it was. If anybody's seen the movie, it's about these people that go to a house and they open up a book and these demons, these ghosts torment these people, but it's through their point of view.
Yeah.
And as a kid with my best friend, we used to call it the cameraman because it's always the cameraman going to place. It's like you can look at it like the cameraman's out for revenge.
That's actually going to be a new horror film. It's called The Cameraman.
By the way, we should make that.
We should. And it's just the guy has a knife that comes in frame like this. It's like Psycho, with the shower scene.
Halloween.
It's like all the ones where you get the camera guy's killing people. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like that.
And he like has different murder weapons. Like today a GoPro. Tomorrow an iPhone.
An iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a killer.
Yeah, that's a killer. Yeah.
I don't even have to touch them for that. They're just going to blow their mind.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a really good piece that I think it does its job because of this one thing. It leaves me wanting more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if it's either
I think we're finally starting to get that because I feel like there's so many trailers that do give away too much.
Oh, too much. I hear about it nonstop.
We've definitely been on the receiving end of getting that direction, right? In the past when we were doing creative, we used to are, but I'm just saying like we would get like say this, and we're just like, God, we're giving away
In fact,
the whole thing. Like, it's
don't
like
even send that question in. I'll tell you right now. We give it away because research says we have to show all this.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand why is this happening. Why? That's what happens.
Like, even if people know that the star probably saves the day at the end of the movie,
right,
you still want to leave them thinking that maybe there's a chance he doesn't, right?
Maybe
that's
he
how a
doesn't.
movie works too. There has to be so against all odds that how could they possibly win?
Right.
And then lo and behold, that's the thing you didn't think of. That's
Right.
how they come up with the, So they still want that in trailers too. Like,
They do.
Keep us guessing.
Yeah.
Well, that was awesome. Let's check out. You sent me this trailer, Brian, yesterday or the day before, whatever, and super cool. Let's check it out. This is Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
Look at it.
What are you in for? What are you in for? I found something buried in the woods. Dad.
This is unacceptable. Do you understand?
What do you think it is? Don't touch anything. What did you do? We're lost. Really lost. Stay together. We just need some directions home.
Come on, kid. Pay up. Whoa. Where'd you two find an old Republic credit?
Over here, quick. I'll get you home. We'll make a partnership. But we have to move fast. I need you to take the controls.
Okay. Neil? Neil?
A crew of murderous pirates is coming.
Something's wrong.
They're not going to just turn up. We need to find them.
We're not alone down here.
Be warned of booby traps. Pirates and mountains where none dare to go.
If you hear this, don't give up. No matter what.
Very cool.
For some reason, I'm like pumped. Like
Because
that trailer's
it's-
like got me pumped, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. Like,
Like,
I don't know. I
it's
don't know
like,
what I want to do with that
it's
energy,
like,
but
I feel like I want to grab a lightsaber, grab the Goonies, and let's go out there and have fun.
Let's
I
do
mean,
it. It's like it's a little Stranger Things Goonies in the Star Wars universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
With Jude Law. Yeah.
So that tells you right now the state of the business. I want to get. I'm sorry. I want to get in. I want to be on the Star Wars Disney. We're at this point now.
Yeah.
We're part of their pedigree. Okay, so we're gonna dissect the trailer. So it opens up. You got a great cue. You know it's gonna lead it into something.
Custom. Definitely custom.
Definitely
Which is, I don't know who did it, but good job.
And a lot of these guys do these remakes or mashups of these older songs.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was oh my god,
Major Tom coming home.
Yeah.
Peter Schilling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, okay.
So I mean, and right off the top, we go right into pedigree.
Yeah.
And to have the Mandalorian as part of the pedigree up there, it just tells you makes sense. It's Disney Plus.
And the
get it.
titles are cool, man.
It's
I like that
very
gold,
cool.
that
Very
gold
cool.
rendering. It's nice.
It feels a little retro to me.
It
but
does. Yeah, it's good.
Like it
It's-
takes the original Star Wars thing, but puts a little
and
fresh to it.
You think that they're leaning into that? Do you think they're trying to do like a Rogue One type
Yeah,
thing
I think
here?
it's all part of the universe.
Okay.
And to get people, like, it strikes a responsive chord, like, oh, hey, I remember this, but get something new. But
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
feels like Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, and those little Easter eggs, like the old Republic credits in there. I love throwing that stuff
I
in
didn't
there.
even catch
Yeah.
that.
So, I
Okay.
mean, like, it's smart, but yeah, you're like, oh, it's a bunch of kids taking a ship and they're lost. And, like, what it is, basically, and some people will know what I'm talking about and some people won't, it's Lost in Space, but with Star Wars.
Okay.
They're going
Yeah.
for. I could see them
I
going
can
from
see
place
that.
to place to place.
Yeah, yeah.
Jude Law's getting him back.
I mean, The
He's probably
Mandalorian's
one of-
very similar, where
Very.
there's a sort of going, you know, it's an episode of the week kind of thing,
Right.
you know,
And a new-
adventure of the
and a new-
week, whatever.
Yeah, and a
you
new
know.
foreign place.
Mhm.
I mean, space is infinite.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out in space.
I mean, that's literally, we've done this so many times. Like, that was Star Trek, right? Like, that was Star Trek.
Right.
It was just adventure of the week, or
Right.
the Klingons, and we're going to like this or whatever, you know?
Right.
Uh,
So I think part of it is like no one super young like I only go back to my kids. They're not gonna know that song. We will.
Yeah.
So it's like you got best of both worlds. You got like kids and we're gonna grab them, and we're gonna get the older audience that also not only likes Star Wars, but knows from this generation when this music was out that we can come to go see it. Because again, going back to what we said earlier, there's so much content. What makes this unique or special versus any other Star Wars or any other thing that's out there right now? So I feel like you have to do that to get people's attention. And it's also, I feel like it was like this a few years ago, but it seems very common today. Everybody's going for these older songs.
Yeah.
And either doing custom or a mashup on it that they want to put back there.
Well, I will say that even though it's an older song and you've got, like you said, you've got that to go after the older generation, you've got the kids to go after the younger generation, whatever. The younger generation these days is starting to find this older music. I see like teenagers walk around with Nirvana shirts all the time now.
They have no idea what it is.
And it's hilarious to me because it makes me feel old as shit.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because like as a teenager, you probably thought, not you, but like someone probably thought it was cool to walk around with like a Led Zeppelin shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, is that like the equivalent for me? Like, fuck, like I'm old.
It's old.
You know, but they are discovering that music. So maybe that's part of it.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I mean, I could say that about so many things. Like right now, remember the starter jackets? Remember Starter? They were like puffy. Everybody loved them. It was big on Spartans. Everybody had it when I go. Like, I want to get, and everybody wore like the Raiders starter jackets, even in like Chicago.
Okay, vaguely, like puffy jackets.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
it's all coming back now. Starters trying to. They have their own shoes coming out. They have all this. I'm like, it's funny. Two things. Either one, we're not making cool shit today.
Yeah.
Or two, the cool shit's done. It was all back in the 80s and the 70s, and that's what they have to bring back. It's kind of like some of the property they're doing for movies and entertainment today. By the way, we will have a little segment in the future on this podcast about kind of like the reboot central or whatever we're going to do.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
a good idea.
Yeah, because there's a bunch
Name
I just
that
saw
reboot. It's really like a little spinning wheel or something.
It's like,
a little spinning wheel
or
something.
I mean, when they're going to reboot and Harry Potter, you know we've been around for a while.
But how are they though? Or you haven't heard? You're saying when they do?
I've seen they're going to make it a TV series. That's what they're saying.
Interesting. I could see it as a TV series.
I could see that.
Totally.
Well, because by the way,
but like, don't focus on the main characters. Focus on like, I don't know, Hufflepuff characters. Isn't that apparently I think it's Hufflepuff is the least popular of the houses.
That's a whole movie in itself.
Like I found that out.
Hufflepuffs.
It is hilarious that like Hufflepuff is the least
cares
popular.
About us.
Like people want to be Gryffindor or Slytherin the most.
Oh my God.
And then there's Ravenclaw, and then apparently Hufflepuff is like the one people don't give a shit about.
They barely have anything in the theme parks, I think. It's like
they have them all. They have all this stuff. It's also yellow, right? Isn't their color yellow? Like, man.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But I'm just saying it's like a hazard suit. It's
just so much of me being a dad of a 10-year-old daughter just came out.
That's so funny. Like, what is this?
All this stuff. This is what we're doing for her birthday this year. She wants a Harry Potter themed birthday, so
yeah. So, I think they're going to go back and do it like Chamber of Secrets and go through the book series again. But
kind of cool.
but we're going to have something like that. So I feel like there's a lot of, again, going back to this IP, intellectual property, like it's like they want to recycle it for a new generation.
Sure.
They've done it in the past. They just didn't do as much. But like I feel like they're going to have to figure out what one thing they like to do, and especially with books, because when you have books, I've always been told by executives, it's a built-in audience.
Yeah.
Like you're going to take a hit, it's a built-in audience already. So you're going to have people come and see it. So, but they like to take these movies that have already been successful and put them back out there, hoping to get a new generation.
Yeah.
And then, hey, that's an easy slam dunk.
Yeah.
That helps support the next $200 million movies we're putting on in streaming that I don't know how we're going to pay for.
Right.
Like you said, like, I don't know how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
I will say, though, it's like, and we were talking about taking big creative swings. And then, like I said, Red 1 isn't a franchise, right? It's a new property.
New. Yeah.
But it's like sometimes it's like that boomer thing I talk about. Like this is the kind of properties that like a boomer would come up with.
They would. It's
like not very good. Like stupid.
This is how we're gonna do it. But people go see it. I mean, you're talking about the same people that watch cats fighting cats online. It's like I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But like you take something like Presents.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this seems like it's new.
Yeah.
It's
unique.
unique.
Seems fresh.
It seems fresh.
Exactly.
And but the budget, I'm sure, is a fraction
I
of
will
what we...
say, man, what? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Just real quick. So we're talking about, okay, this is a new look. Do you remember when cameras started to get smaller, right? And mini DV was a thing, right? Early 2000s. You got like the Blair Witches. You got these new filmmakers that were going out and taking big swings, like doing the whole found footage and like this, blah, blah, blah. And it had this whole new version of filmmakers. We now have, a 24p 4K camera in everyone's pocket that shoots HDR that you can rig up, and you can use this Blackmagic app to like be able to control and get really incredible images.
Yeah.
Why are we not seeing these new filmmakers from Gen Z doing their own shit on like iPhones and stuff? You see what I'm saying? It's more accessible than ever, but they're on TikTok. They're doing stupid. But that's like, why isn't it? I don't need to see, like, no offense to Gen Z, whatever. I don't need to see you complaining about your Starbucks order.
Right.
I don't give a shit. I don't need to see them complaining about how their nails when they went to the nail salon wasn't done right. Right. And like, that's what, I don't know. I want to see real creativity and like storytelling. Why aren't we seeing that, I wonder? Or are we, and I'm missing it?
No, I think you're actually, can I say something?
Yeah.
I think you're spot on. And I think it's something I've seen.
Fucking A.
Yeah, you're like, someone get that on tape.
For
we
once.
did have it. Someone get that on tape. Repeat that. Repeat. I think you're spot on.
Fucking A.
But I'm
Let's
just
flip
saying,
it right now.
And again.
Fucking A.
And I was just like, but I'm just saying, I think, in my opinion, and we've talked about this, even when I did an interview with you like a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't think people read. When I say people, I mean kids. I don't think they know
how to read.
Yeah. Is that true? Everything but the reading part. Sorry, Lil Wayne's are off. I don't think they read enough.
Yeah.
I don't think they know the concept of story.
Maybe that's true.
It's easier to be like,
might
I
be true.
see someone burn their mouth on a hot coffee.
Yeah.
Bang, that's a story. Maybe I should have had some coffee. Are you sure? It pays to be the star. It also hurts. That's hot. I guess I could break that down. The main character went in for the enemy in the cave.
You just want to show the blooper again.
It's exactly.
And we show the blooper again.
It also hurts. That's hot. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I think if these kids, they're so talented, and not just kids, anybody like that.
Yeah.
I still can't work this phone, but like if they can sit here and know this technology, pick up a book, learn a story.
Yeah.
Learn how to read, learn
how to
characters.
really tell stories.
Look what it's like to be like, because everybody has one.
Yeah.
I think what's seriously missing in the scripts, and I'm not just saying that because I have a writing background, but I'm saying I think it's missing. If people start reading again and they get into this, they'll be like, you know what? I have a story to tell.
Yeah.
Because the technology, like you just said, is there.
Mm-hmm. Here's
and
another
the affordability
here's
is too.
another angle to look at it too. Maybe those kids are out there, but because like we were talking about earlier, we still have all these boomer people at the top. They're not recognizing the talent. They're not looking for that. They're looking for same old people I've worked with before. Let's have Rob Reiner do a thing again, what I'm saying? Or, whatever.
I think there's always been an element of that people operate out of fear of failure instead of like risk for success.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge problem. And the thing is, once you break, that's literally looking at the glass half empty versus full.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, what if you take a chance and do it? You see where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be that one person or entity or company that's like, you know what? Let's not do this. Let's go outside the norm. Let's go against the grain and try this.
Yeah.
Because it's that risk versus
reward. And I think
reward.
you do see that in the Neons and the A24s,
Oh, A24 is amazing what they put out.
Yeah.
It's just like, you have to have that risk and vision, but a lot of it is risk. Be like, hey, I keep hearing about this, this FOMO thing, this fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Everybody's so scared to not do this that they're gonna miss out on this. So if I just do this, everybody else is doing it, I got to do it too.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna reboot this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just do the same thing that everybody else is doing. I'm actually gonna go do something that no one else has ever done in the past 5 years, 6 years. Read a script.
Yeah.
And look at it and be like, hey, is this a good story?
I will say, man, like I read the script for Predator recently. Not recently, over COVID.
The original one. The original one.
Yeah, the original Predator. I read the script, the screenplay. Just, it was COVID and everybody was bored, and including me. And I was like trying to write a script of my own, so I was like, which didn't go anywhere. But still, I was like, let me read something that had been written. The level of writing is unreal. Like, it's so well written, so well described. It's not just like so-and-so walks in and puts the paper down. It's like, it's written almost like a friggin' novel, like how descriptive things are,
Is that Shane Black? Did he write that?
No, I don't think so. I don't forget.
Because he's really good. I thought he was a part of that. He either producer or help write it or do something, I think. I have to look it up.
I could be wrong. But we'll put it down at the lower third here. That's who it is.
Yeah,
figure it out for everybody.
It's funny that you should say that because one of the old schoolers, I call him old schooler, but he's not. He's been around for a while, but he's really good. The writer of Presence is David Koepp.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
People are like, that's great. Yeah, David Koepp. Who? Okay, this guy's done Spider-Man. He's been around for a long time and is very sharp. And he's helped out in Marvel. He's helped out in a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
It still has to go back to those writers. So do you think it's a coincidence that these guys, whether you read Predator up in, that's from the 80s or something from 2024 going to 25, Presence, do you think it's a coincidence that, hey, 2 great scripts, 2 great movies are written by real writers?
I know, right?
It's not a coincidence.
I know.
So
and
that's
what
why
does
my
that
theory
say for
is.
so you're saying, are we saying that this next generation, because they're just on TikTok and things like that, and they're getting a little more immediate type of entertainment that's not really storytelling all the time, but it is entertainment, and they're not reading, are we going to get those storytellers in our next generation? That's, I guess, the question.
I will answer this based on, I was at a Halloween party. Or we were doing a Halloween thing. A bunch of kids, my son's 6th grade class. And I made a comment about, you guys have to read. I don't know what it was. It was something stupid. I always say something stupid. I said something, and one of the kids, because they're 6th grade, they're all like, cool. Everybody's like, attitude. They're like, I do read. I'm like, all right, what do you read? He goes, I read emails. I think that's...
Why is he reading emails?
I think that's
was this a 6th grader?
Yeah, I'm like...
What's he like, running a side business or something? Who's emailing in 6th grade?
Well, they do. Everything's online, by the way.
Yeah, but email? I thought they would like Instagram, like direct messages
whatever.
or something.
But I'm like, that's your answer?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what they do. They consider that reading. They consider BRB reading. I mean, this is a theory based on what they said. I'm like, well, that's not really reading. That's like...
Yeah.
That's like me reading the card in the bathroom, please wash your hands. I mean, that's not like I did reading today. It's 4 words. It's crazy. I'm just saying, whatever. I mean, it's like, that's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
I really do. But it's not coincidence that both scripts we just talked about are legitimate.
Yeah. That's
because
true.
those guys have been around. They're real writers. So I think there are stories out there that need to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just and I definitely think the technology is, it's not even close. I mean, if I could see this when I was a kid and going to film school, I'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's like, you just got to do some of the basics.
Yeah.
You got to do some of the basics.
Sorry. I mean, it's crazy. Like that Green Band trailer that you and I put together for fun.
Right.
How long did it take us to shoot that? Like 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Because it's just, you can grab...
An hour and a half.
Yeah. There was a whole crew here. And we had trailers. There was...
we would never just throw anything up there and not know what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's just like... But
really, we just grabbed it, shot it handheld really quick. And that's the technology that we have these days.
Which is amazing.
To us. And these young people have that technology. And I would just love to see... I don't know. I'd like to see it utilized a little more often. I think it's possible. And like I said, I'd like to see people at the studios that can recognize that talent, and then bring it forth for,
I definitely think there needs to be a bridge
Yeah.
between that. Because I think if once you recognize that and you give them an avenue, I mean, think about these guys that came up. Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams, fill in the blank of Barry Sonnenfeld and Tim Burton.
Yeah.
I'm getting really old now, but I'm saying
well, not really. Tim Burton's still relevant, right? We just had Beetlejuice.
And
don't say it a third time.
Yeah. That was funny, Mike. He made it funny.
Ow, burn. You sound like my daughter.
Great. But it's funny because there's got to be that bridge. Someone got their start at some point.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't be these polar opposites now and be like, oh, hey, I've done it always. I just do this because I've always done it.
Yeah.
Versus like, well, this is how I want to do it because this is all I know. I'm like, there's got to be there's a lot of talent there. Someone needs to bring in the old apprenticeship program and bring people up and be like, hey, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
But I think if you can prove that you're a storyteller,
what
fine.
I think this, and I think we should end it here because this was great. But I think what this recording today, what this episode has proved to us, is that we need to have more Gen Zs on the show.
Yeah.
We absolutely need to have Gen Z guests.
We do. We're working on it.
Asking them, like, what are you watching every day? What do you get out of this TikTok video? What are you producing if you're creative? Like, how are you putting out there in the world? Like, and maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll show some shit that we're like, holy crap. Like, look at this. Like, this is impressive, but no one's paying attention to it because media is run by boomers. I don't know. Like, it'd be interesting to see, But it'd
be also cool to see on the flip side, there are a lot of digital spots that's now become part of mainstream marketing.
Yeah.
That, like, I think we could see how that they use that as part of their marketing thing. We don't see all the TV spots again. But anyway, I think so. Well, we have a lot to talk about.
We got a lot. I feel like we hit the ground running here.
Yeah.
This was good.
So to recap, welcome back.
We're going to recap the whole show?
No.
Well, reach out to us. We're still getting some of our socials set up, but we do have Facebook.
Yeah.
We have Instagram.
Email. Give me the email address again.
I think all of them are at Green Band Podcast. Our email address is greenbandpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up there. Our website is greenbandpodcast.com. And we're on LinkedIn. We're on that too. Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm sure eventually we'll be on the TikTok. We've got to be on the TikTok eventually.
At some point, we're going to do it.
I mean, that's how we get the Gen Z feedback.
That's how it is.
These just angry Gen Zers like, you don't understand us. Which
Can I ask you something?
Probably true.
Clown emojis mean we're awesome, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure.
And what's eggplant emoji?
That's it. That's all the time we have, folks. But I'm just saying, like, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do some different segments. We're going to review trailers, and hopefully we'll interview some people. I know we got a couple people lined up that want to come on, so
definitely.
It's good to be back, man.
It's good to be back. It really is. See ya.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week on The Green Band. The Green Band podcast is produced by Brian Fink and Michael Carr and brought to you by Karma, Creative Post Experts. All media in this production is used under the protection of fair use. Follow The Green Band on social media, subscribe, and like on YouTube. And please give us a rate and review on your favorite podcast platform. We'll see you back on Thursday with a brand new episode of The Green Band.